When I was 8, I had had 2 glasses of champagne, and boom, I was like tipsy and, you know, bubbly and the life of the party.
Drug addictions, abuse, and bankruptcy. What really happened to some of our most beloved TV child stars?
My career would have been over. No one was believing anybody at that era.
Number 1, Jodie Sweetin. Did you know Jodie Sweetin, known for playing Stephanie Tanner in Full House, once had a drug addiction that nearly cost her her life?
My plan was to be done by 30. I didn't think I'd see my 30th birthday.
The actress had born whilst her mother was incarcerated. Both of her parents were continuously in and out of prison. But when Jodie was very young, something terrible happened to her dad while he was serving his sentence.
He was supposed to be moved a couple weeks later, and a prison riot broke out, and he was stabbed in the heart and killed.
Because of this, Jodie was raised by her uncle and aunt, who encouraged her to follow her dreams and become an actress.
I loved doing what I did, and my parents always said, if you love this, we'll support you, and you don't want to do this, tell us.
Her life changed completely when she was cast in Full House. However, while this brought her fame and popularity, she no longer had any privacy.
I just wanted so desperately to not be famous at school. I just wanted to walk by and not hear whispers of conversation about me.
After Full House was canceled, Jodie struggled to come to terms with her new reality and tried to find ways to cope with it.
If alcohol's 13, when do drugs come?
Probably like 14, 15, smoking pot on the way to school. You know, it wasn't until my grad night of high school was the first time I ever tried ecstasy.
Sadly, this ended up turning into a terrifying addiction.
And there were moments that I like wound up in the hospital with acute alcohol poisoning or something. I wound up, you know, like passed out on a sidewalk for hours.
During this time, she took ecstasy, methamphetamine, and crack cocaine. She would end up going to rehab in 2005 after partying too much.
After I had Zoe, my older daughter, I was trying to get sober again. I had quit drinking when I was pregnant, and then it was like she was born, and I was like, I went from partying to being a mom.
However, a few years later, she became addicted to a painkiller called Somas.
But I had relapsed after I got in a car accident, and I was using muscle relaxers because I broke my arm.
This new drug caused her body to deteriorate dramatically. Since then, Jodie has been sober for over a decade and has published a memoir recounting her experience. Number 2. The Olsen Twins. The Olsen Twins faced all kinds of challenges in their career, from coping with body image issues to being witnesses to inappropriate behavior on the set of Full House.
They were very inappropriate. We probably couldn't even talk about it here.
The twins starred in the sitcom for 8 seasons, the majority of their childhood.
We've grown up working.
During their time there, one of the adult actors displayed crude and sexual humor in front of the child actresses.
So I was on good behavior, but sometimes I did some inappropriate acts.
Comedian Bob Saget, who played the twins' on-screen father, was known for this type of comedy in his stand-up routines.
But I'm a happy guy because I got married my girlfriend of 7 years. At her age, I'm going to jail.
One day on set, while the Olsen sisters were away, Bob Saget had to do rehearsal with a doll instead, but he decided to turn it into an ill-judged joke.
And then I just grabbed it, I just threw it on the bed, and I just started pretending, you know. I was
This incident became a joke between the actor and his friends, who would laugh together about it.
Full House should have been called Blackjack because you hit on the Olsens when they were 8. You didn't stop till they were 21.
Throughout their career, the twins were constantly sexualized. When they turned 16, an interviewer asked them if they had lost their virginity, which many considered inappropriate.
But you look cute.
Thank you.
One day, both of you are going to look like this. Can't wait.
In the movie Holiday in the Sun, Ashley had an on-screen kiss with 22-year-old Ben Easter when she was just 15.
Yes, you had an on-screen kiss. So how was that?
It was very, very embarrassing.
Oh, come on, you liked a little bit of it, huh?
The sexualization grew as they approached adulthood, with websites set up counting down to when the girls became legal.
Like the big creepy men that like follow you everywhere, and they're like, "Can you picture?" And they're like 40 years old, and they're like sweating. And they have these pictures of us when we're like 12.
As they grew up, the pressures of stardom began to affect them even more, and rumors about Mary-Kate's weight began to circulate the media.
The new rumor has recently surfaced has really upset you, right? You know, the one about eating.
Yeah, you know, people are gonna write what they want to write. Either you're too fat, you're too skinny.
What size are you, by the way?
Size?
Yeah, I look like
I'm really short.
Their parents intervened and sent Mary-Kate to treatment to combat her eating disorder. They also hired someone to monitor her eating. Today, the 37-year-old twins have abandoned acting entirely for fashion. They turned down a reunion special for Full House and lived relatively private lives despite their huge success. Number 3. Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore had one of the most tragic childhoods you could imagine.
How were you there at a nightclub?
I
I was like 7.
That's not okay.
No, it's so not okay.
After landing her role in E.T., 7-year-old Drew Barrymore started partying with adults.
I really didn't know the difference. I was like 6 years old, hanging out with a bunch of 25-year-olds. I liked being around older people. I felt like I could relate to them better.
She was exposed to the drug scene of Hollywood with barely any supervision.
Part of it was the fact that I didn't have a dad. I felt like my mom was abandoning me because she was always off at work.
Because of this, eventually, the child star got her hands on some alcohol.
When I was 8, I had 2 glasses of champagne, and boom, I was like tipsy and, you know, bubbly in the life of the party.
Being drunk helped the actress cope with her issues.
All my problem had seemed, you know, to disappear for that hour that I was out of it.
Her alcohol abuse led her to try marijuana, which completely changed her life.
I tried things, and I think it's very scary when children try things because it's heartbreaking.
Pot, drinking?
Yes.
Have you stopped?
Yes.
Both?
Drew then tried cocaine and became addicted. This drug abuse began affecting her mentally, and she went through depressive episodes. At 13, she used a knife to hurt herself. The press learned about this, and her mother decided to visit her.
My mom put me in a place that was like a full psychiatric ward. You couldn't mess around in there, and if you did, you would get thrown either in the padded room or get put in stretcher restraints and tied up.
However, Drew's relationship with her mother worsened after that, and the child star decided to emancipate herself from her.
And we handshook, and it was a very respectful court date.
Despite her problematic childhood, Drew was able to turn her life around. She overcame her addiction and focused on her career, becoming one of the most iconic actresses in Hollywood. Number 4. Brooke Shields. The truth about Brooke Shields' career may shock you.
He said that I looked mature, but I was still very much a little kid.
Brooke Shields became one of the most renowned child actors in the 70s.
You really are an exquisite-looking young lady. I know you've been told that, but isn't she a pretty girl?
However, Brooke's looks led to her being sexualized at an extremely early age.
The nature of the commercials that a lot of people would see you as a sex kitten.
You know, because people see me in all different lights. They see me really however a person wants to see another person, they can see them that way.
When she was just 10, her mother and manager Terry convinced Brooke to pose nude to the Playboy magazine Sugar and Spice. Known for these previous roles, the actress was then cast as a child sex worker in the film Pretty Baby, where she was made to kiss her much older co-star.
I had never kissed anybody before, you know, in his 30s, and I'm 11, and he's thinking, oh God, you know, I don't want to scar this kid.
Despite concerns of exploitation, Brooke claims that Carradine was a good man who never made her feel uncomfortable. At the time, Brooke didn't speak out about it.
Why didn't you want to talk about it again? My career would have been over.
No one was believing anybody at that era.
However, she reflected on this later on.
Didn't you miss your childhood? Didn't you feel like taken advantage of? Did all these things. People were desperate for me to say yes, and I didn't feel it.
Brooke claims that having 2 daughters has also changed her perspective.
I knew twice with my little 11-year-old body. Would you have let us at the age of 11? No.
Brooke Shields went on to become an Ivy League graduate, published author, and successful actor with an almost 60-year-long career. Number 5. Mara Wilson. You might wonder why we didn't see more of Mara Wilson after playing Matilda, but here's the reason why.
I had people commenting on my weight, on my face, and you know, talking about me, you know, like, you know, saying that I was ugly.
From a very early age, Mara Wilson wanted to become an actress.
My parents never thought I would become famous, which is the only reason that they let me do it.
Her rise to fame came when she played the titular character in Matilda.
I really had a spirited young girl who was intelligent and brave and, you know, and willing to stand up for what was right.
Mara was sometimes asked awkward questions at a young age.
I was asked, you know, who I had a crush on and who I thought was sexy, and I was asked about, you know, Hugh Grant soliciting a sex worker.
This sexualization only became worse.
I had grown men writing me letters about my body and my face and all of these kinds of things and telling me that they were in love with me.
As a teenager, the child actress struggled to move into more adult roles.
I was starting to notice that at that point in my life, I didn't have that Hollywood beauty. Even though I was kind of getting tired of Hollywood, it did still hurt to feel rejected.
Mara didn't know what was best for her career.
I was going to be seen as a failure. I was either going to be seen as being too sexy or not sexy enough.
The actress claimed that she was only valued for her looks, and that affected her self-esteem going into adulthood.
Sometimes I wish I could get in an accident just so I could get cosmetic surgery guilt-free.
The star eventually quit the movie industry, and since then, she has been focused on working in web series. Thanks for watching.